Luis Rivera on the stand under cross-examination. It's taking a little bit of time to go through some paperwork. They were talking about his past convictions. Remember, he's a cooperating witness in all of this. He had a lot to gain to testify against Mr. Garcia in this case. Again, he pointed the finger at Garcia as the trigger man. I want to bring in Lisa Lockwood, who joins me via Skype. Julie Rendelman also with me this afternoon. Let's talk about this case, because as I read it, as I study it, as I've been listening to some of the testimony, it really is a case out of a movie. Here you have a murder for hire plot. You have all these different characters. How they interweave and entangle is just fascinating, Lisa. What do you think of this guy's testimony?
Well, what they're going to obviously try to do is discredit him, saying he got the sweet deal. Whoever speaks first gets the best deal. So now they're looking to say that they're basically trying to assassinate his character, saying he's got all these convictions and he had everything to gain by pointing the finger at Garcia. So that's what they're trying to do. However, we know that there were multiple trips to visit Dan Markel. There was an initial trip, and then there was a trip later on where they actually did the murder. So they have evidence of that. They knew that he was there for both of them, and it's a matter of finding out if the jury's going to see him as a credible witness.
All right, it looks like he's being questioned again. Let's listen in. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're back inside that FSU case of Dan Markel, the murder of Dan Markel. He was an FSU law professor. I want to bring in my guests again, a panel. Julie Rendelman and Lisa Lockwood are with me on standby as we kind of delve into this very complicated case. So here's what I don't get, and maybe Lisa, you can explain this to me. Why hasn't Dan's ex-wife or any of her family members, who prosecutors clearly believe are the ones responsible for setting up this hit job, why haven't they faced any charges yet in this case?
Crazy. And there's already been a documentary on it, and the way that they cover their tracks, not being able to ascertain text messages, keeping everything super secretive, they had the upper hand. My belief is that, yes, it was completely orchestrated by family members. We already know that Wendy's brother said, you know, how about as a gift to you that I take him out? And it was saying, oh, it was all in jest and it was joking, etc. So even Wendy's ex-boyfriend had said that my brother wants to get rid of him, and it wasn't a joke at that period of time. So why the hearsay is not enough evidence. So they're looking to really have a solid case, and it may come later.
Well, we do know that at least one of the defendant's cell phone records is linked back with the father-in-law of Wendy Adelson. But again, that's just circumstantial, right, Julie? That's not necessarily, and if you don't have more than that, it's pretty hard to make the link there.
Yeah, and I think Lisa's point is that, you know, their time may come. Keep in mind, there's no statute of limitations on murder. And one of the reasons now we're going forward with these two individuals is we have a cooperator now. The goal, I assume, from the prosecutor's perspective is let's convict them and see if we can flip them, because the ultimate goal is to go after the family members. And so my guess is if they can get them convicted, they may have a shot at going after the rest.
That's interesting, though, but if you would think if they're going to flip, they would have flipped before the trial, right, Julie?
Well,
to try to get a better deal here?
I've had defendants when I was a prosecutor who wouldn't flip until after they were convicted. Now they get themselves in trouble if they take the stand and deny it and then are convicted. And so that's kind of a strategy on the part of the defense. But yeah, it's obviously better if it's prior. But people have a right to a trial and be proven beyond a reasonable doubt their guilt. And if they are, then maybe they'll change their mind.
Okay, as we wait for live testimony, I want to play some previous testimony when Dan Markel's ex-wife, Wendy Adelson, who, of course, he was undergoing a very bitter divorce with. There were all kinds of custody issues with their young children. She took the stand as part of the prosecution's case. Let's listen. All right, so this is very interesting. Luis Rivera, co-defendant turned state witness. He's being cross-examined, and Julie, I don't know, is he taking this seriously? There's times he's kind of laughing. What do you think of his testimony?
I mean, as a prosecutor, you know, when you bring on a cooperator such as this, you get what you get.
Right.
And so in a sense, one would assume that they prepared the jury to understand.
Okay, Julie, I got to cut you off. We're coming up against a break. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes.